Chosen one, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because right now, in this very moment, whether you can see it or not, something sacred and set apart is settling onto your life. People keep looking at you differently, don't they? You walk into a room and conversation pauses. Strangers stare just a second too long. Some are drawn and don't know why. Others are bothered without reason. You may even catch your own reflection and wonder, am I changing? Why does my face feel heavier with something invisible, noticeable only to those who are spiritually awake or secretly threatened? I need you to hear me. The mantle, the weight and authority of your calling is beginning to show on your face. You can't hide what God is doing. You can't mask it with makeup, laughter, or disappointment. Chosen people always carry marks that can't be scrubbed off. Let me tell you what's really happening behind the scenes. That thing you sense, the pressure between your eyebrows, the deepening around your eyes, the tension in your jaw that creeps up after certain conversations, it's not stress. It's the heaviness of divine assignment resting right above your skin. There are moments lately when the world gets quiet for you. Calls go unanswered. Old friends lose interest. You notice your calendar shrinking, your invitations drying up, and your phone, once a source of noise, now sitting silent for hours. This isolation isn't random. When heaven marks someone for sovereign work, they pull you away from the crowd so the features of your countenance can change without sabotage or slander. Here's what you need to understand. The called never look quite like everyone else. A mantle disfigures what is ordinary and perfects what is strange. You grow into a face the world can't forget, a face the enemy can't ignore. Some days you look in the mirror and something stares back that's sharp, almost unrecognizable. Other times you see fatigue that's really the afterglow of wrestling with invisible things all night. You've noticed the eyes, how they seem to get brighter and sadder at the same time. How some laugh at you and others are afraid for no reason at all. This is the mark, chosen one. This is calling resting for all to see. Let me take you deeper into the 3 a.m. hours, that secret realm where the mantle presses most visibly into your features. At 3 a.m., silence isn't peace. It's an interrogation. You wake up sweating, chest tight, heart pounding loud enough to break the night. Your mind races with questions you can't form words for. You wonder if you're losing your mind, if this pressure on your head is normal, if you should get up, pace, or just surrender to the weight. Some nights you try to pray but find yourself too tired to finish a single sentence. Other nights you reach for sleep aids, herbal teas, white noise, extra pillows, or a desperate scroll through your phone for anything to distract from the pressure building behind your brow. Nothing works. The blue light of your screen just deepens the shadows in your eyes. You pass out eventually, exhausted not just by lack of sleep, but by the strain of carrying something spiritual on the outside of your body. When morning breaks, you don't feel rested. You go through your routines, wash your face, apply whatever you can, but you see the story still written there. The calling didn't leave overnight. The mark just burrowed in more. Let me explain why this mark is misunderstood. You may have noticed people treating you strange lately. Some used to welcome you are suddenly tense, their greetings clipped. Others who ignored you now watch from a distance, almost in awe or suspicion. The anointing changes your posture. It interrupts conversations and makes you the unintentional center no matter how much you try to shrink. Family members doubt your humility. Friends accuse you of changing but can't say exactly how. Some even ask if you're angry or tired, never realizing it's a holy exhaustion, the kind you can't explain. Your facial muscles feel foreign, as if some new authority makes them heavier. This is the sign, chosen one. You carry the features of someone who has heard from God and survived the encounter. Let me walk you through the blessing nobody talks about. The favor that starts appearing because of your marked face. Promotions that should go to others get handed to you suddenly. Interviewers pause, looking at you as if remembering something important. Strangers confide deep things without warning. You get called to tables you never campaigned for. Clients say, "There's just something about you." Checks show up addressed to you with no effort made. Suddenly your no carries weight in rooms where you were once ignored. People who once wanted to overlook you can't take their eyes off you, and they don't even know why. This is what happens when the mantle marks your face. Blessings bypass ordinary protocol and crash right into your lap. Here's where you need courage. The mark draws jealousy and spiritual warfare. Let me show you exactly what's happening. The ones who thought you'd fold under isolation start rumors about your new attitude. Longtime allies feel threatened and pull away. Opportunities that seem tailor-made for you vanish at the last minute. Emails get lost, and the promise disappears into thin air. Behind closed doors, people debate how to block you, how to erase the advantage you suddenly carry. But every sabotage falls flat. Doors slammed in your face become public confirmation that you're too chosen for certain rooms. Every no is a stage being set for a yes that cannot be denied. The mark exposes both enemies and allies. It sorts your life in ways that leave your soul aching and your face more weathered with each day. Let me break this down for you. Your countenance becomes a prophecy. People see you and sense difference, sometimes before you do. You become a living warning or an invitation depending on their heart. The fearful see your face and run. The hungry see your face and want to touch the hem of your understanding. The mark on your face changes the atmosphere. Children stare unblinking. Elders nod with unspoken respect or suspicion. You lose the luxury of anonymity. Your arrival is always noticed. The line at the bank slows when you step up. The nurse at your checkup asks a second time, "Are you sure you're all right?" Not because you look sick, but because the mantle distorts what's normal. Even photographs feel heavier, as if the image can barely contain the weight of what rests upon you. Now listen to this carefully. Even as the mantle shows on your face, your spirit is stretching to hold the increase. Right now, as you hear these words, heaviness is turning to radiance. Sleepless eyes are becoming wells of wisdom. The furrowed brow is a sign of bearing burdens for others. The tightening jaw reveals someone who has learned to keep secrets with heaven. The faint smile is evidence of miracles seen in private. Every line, every dark circle, every glow, suddenly, overnight, now. It's not weakness, it's testimony. The calling has to show. God refuses to let His glory be hidden on those He has handpicked to carry it. They wished you'd fade away. But every struggle etched endurance deeper into your gaze. They hoped your face would collapse under the heaviness, but heaven settled on you all the more. They campaigned for your disqualification, but the mantle marked you in public and in private. They shut doors, but your countenance became a key nobody could copy. They dismissed you as unremarkable, but your face became a canvas of calling. They tried to shame you, but sorrow turned your eyes into lamps for the lost. They underestimated you, but every mark became an advertisement of God's hand. Chosen one, I decree, what's written on your face now is irreversible, the mantle unmistakable, the mark unerasable, suddenly, overnight, now. Chosen one, let me take you even deeper into the arc of your story, because right now the world is shifting in ways that have everything to do with the mantle and the mark on your life. Something is happening on the other side of the struggle that at first looks like reversal, but it's actually the beginning of vindication. I need you to grip this, not just with your mind, but with everything inside you, because as the world tries to define you by past failures, heaven is writing new language on your very face. Right now, there are rooms where your name is being discussed, not as a cautionary tale, but as a key. There are meetings. There are conversations you aren't invited to. Yet, but in those places, the atmosphere shifts when your story is mentioned. Not because you fought for your vindication, not because you campaigned to clear your name, but because the hand of God is putting a new brightness in your eyes, an authority in your voice, and a mark on your face that turns mockery into marvel. Let me show you how the reversal begins. Think back to all the closed doors. Every time you were passed over for the promotion, every contract that fell apart, every partnership that dissolved as soon as your breakthrough was within reach. For a while, it looked like failure was your portion, your posture bent under the weight of disappointment. People saw you fading, saw the exhaustion sitting on your shoulders, and decided your season was over. You lost count of the times the phone stayed silent, of the meetings that ended with, "We went another direction," of the bank account so low you stopped checking the numbers because you knew the answer was always lack. But what you didn't know, what the world couldn't see, was the way that every loss was creating space. Space that only the hand of God could fill. Each door that closed was preparing a greater door that could never be shut by human hands. Every whisper, every rumor, every accusation that tried to attach to your name wound up amplifying the calling written on your face. There's a moment, sometimes subtle, sometimes unmistakable, when reversal shows up. Right when you get used to being ignored, suddenly your name lands at the top of the list. You're called up for opportunities you had stopped pursuing. They apologize for the wait. They want you now, not in a future season. The deal goes through, the approval comes, the contract is signed that same hour. Not just one blessing, but a chain reaction. Emails hit your inbox with unexpected congratulations. Checks are wired into your account with notes saying, "You came to mind." People you thought had forgotten you reach out, asking for advice, wanting your input, seeking your blessing. Let me make it clear, this reversal is not accidental. It's the reward for surviving seasons where your face bore the full weight of hidden battles. God is putting you on display, not for your own glory, but for the vindication of His word in your life. The very things they used against you, your honest face, your battle-worn features, your clear eyes, become proof that you were favored all along. Now let me show you what true vindication looks like. Vindication is not a private word. It's public recognition. It's the client who once doubted your value suddenly doubling their business with you. It's the family members who dismissed your dreams gathering to ask, "How did you do it?" It's the competitor who tried to undercut you now asking for collaboration. You notice the reversal in your finances. A month that starts tight finishes with more than enough. The invoice that lingered unpaid for weeks gets processed with apologies and interest. Doors once closed for good now open without even a knock. Even your health shifts. Test results come back clean where you feared the worst. Chronic issues begin to recede. Sleep starts to visit again, deep and healing. But it goes even deeper. Vindication settles on your relationships. Friends who left you in the wilderness circle back with remorse. They want to rebuild, to make amends for their silence in your desert hours. Some do return, and you notice a newfound humility in their tone. Others can't handle the weight of your restoration and disappear quietly. That's how you know the sorting was real. New people enter your life carrying blessings you never expected. Destiny helpers show up at key intersections, offering things you once had to beg for. Everything accelerates. Divine appointments, strategic conversations favor with decision makers. Everyone starts to see the mark, the proof of your surviving, the evidence that you are sent. And here's where commission enters the picture. Your story isn't just about surviving or even being vindicated. There's a task hidden in the mark you bear. Let me break this open for you. Out of your disappointment, God is issuing new assignments. The very authority that made you strange in one season now makes you essential in the next. Your identity shifts from the marginalized to the mobilized. You find yourself speaking in rooms you thought were reserved for others. Your hands are requested for projects no one trusted you with before. People ask for your presence, your insight, your covering. Suddenly, the text messages return, the calls multiply, not for gossip, but for guidance. Let me take you into the details of your new commission. There are specific people watching you, needing you to stand so they know standing is possible. You become a testimony on legs, a living letter of hope written not in ink, but on your face, in your walk, in your patience under pressure. Young ones are waiting to hear how you survived because your scars are the proof they need that the fight is worth it. Elders, once skeptical, start confiding in you. Even your silence carries weight. Your nod is a seal, your laughter a weapon, your tears an intercession. The mark is now your authority. Public vindication transforms into public responsibility, and you sense in your bones that you're being watched as a blueprint for restoration. Let me show you something practical. Your daily routine changes when you know you're marked and commissioned. You no longer waste time chasing approval. You wake up knowing heaven is counting on your willingness. You invest in what others ignore. Quiet moments, sacred conversations, invisible seeds. You are no longer afraid to say no. You are not rattled by delayed responses, by pending invoices, by shifting timelines. Your joy is no longer tied to outcomes, but to obedience. Chosen one, you step out the door each day with a mark so obvious in the spirit that even your enemies sense the protection and provision hovering around you. Demons recognize it. The atmosphere adapts to it. Favor follows it. Let me paint the scene of your new impact. Every room you enter, the conversation leans toward you, even when your mouth is closed. People recalibrate when you speak. There are meetings where silence falls just so your voice can carve a new direction. Your presence triggers overdue breakthroughs. The weary find courage when they see your determination. The proud feel the edges of conviction. The lost ask for a roadmap. Unexpected resources appear because the mark authorizes new streams, and still you do not gloat. You remember the sleepless nights, the prayers prayed through clenched teeth, the years of unremarked labor. Let me explain why the mark cannot be revoked. You didn't earn this with perfection. You received it through surrender. You didn't manufacture influence, you inherited it by dying to self over and over until the only thing left was pure transparency. They can deny you, but they can't erase what has settled on your countenance. The approval of heaven outweighs the applause or rejection of man. The commission is irreversible. The authority is embedded not just in your features, but in your spirit's atmosphere. Now let the closing echo ring. They tried to erase your name, but heaven published it. They tried to stain your reputation, but the oil kept rising. They plotted your downfall, but God shifted the foundation under your feet. They thought your night would never break, but morning showed up carrying resurrection. They withheld favor, but blessings found you unsought. They designed obstacles, but you moved with wind at your back. They sowed confusion, but you now carry clarity for a generation. They ridiculed your waiting, but divine timing turned the tables. They called your face broken, but God called it chosen. Right now, as you hear these words, the mark is radiating, the mantle is increasing, the commission is unfolding, suddenly, overnight, now. Chosen one, you need to understand that what is happening to you in this hour is so much bigger than what's visible to the naked eye. The world thinks they know what transformation looks like, but heaven has a different timetable, a different way of signaling that everything has changed. As you stand on the other side of disappointment, the reversal becomes more than a turn of fortune. It becomes the proof that every wasted night, every silent morning, every delay was carrying a purpose that simply couldn't be rushed. The same people who once doubted your path are now pressed up against the glass, wanting to know your secret. Let me tell you, it's not a secret, it's a mark, and it is unhideable now. The very thing that made you vulnerable, the visible weight on your face, the lines carved by unseen battles, is now the banner waving in the wind of your release. Let me walk you through the reversal in your finances, because right now money moves differently around you. Where every bill used to feel like a surprise attack, now payments arrive before the worry even settles. You scan your accounts and, for the first time in forever, the numbers rise instead of sink. Debts begin to cancel out, sometimes suddenly, other times through conversations you didn't even initiate. There are days you look at what's left after the costs and you can't remember the last time abundance felt this normal. You are not checking your mailbox with dread. You're expecting increase, not bracing for collectors. Friends notice too. They see the way you tip, the way you refuse to talk lack. Old cycles snap because when the mark of calling is on your face, provision can't bypass your address. It comes searching. It refuses to be rerouted. People you helped in secret now send back help for you, multiplied and pressed down, shaking together, running over into the cracks of your need. And don't miss this. The more you let generosity become your reflex, the more the heavens pour back into your open hands. But it's not just money. Relationships that used to slide into chaos begin to find peace in your presence. The mantle brings an authority that settles arguments before they ever start. People who were difficult and always on edge with you suddenly can only speak blessings. Family members who used to trigger old wounds now find themselves softening, disarmed by something even they can't name. This isn't some strange coincidence. It is the mark at work. You find yourself saying less, but your silence carries weight. Your laughter heals. The look in your eyes tells people there is still time for forgiveness, still room for a new chapter. Where there once were shouting matches and slammed doors, now there are reluctant apologies, quiet phone calls, coffee invitations out of the blue. The people who once rolled their eyes at your dreams come asking how to survive storms. And for those who cannot see your change, for those who still bring drama your way, it doesn't have the same power anymore. Roll your shoulders back. A separation has happened, and what cannot stay in the presence of your calling must remove itself. Let me show you reversal at work in your health. The way your body starts aligning with your assignment. For too long you dragged yourself out of bed feeling like every joint and muscle was a protest against another day. Right now you begin to notice a strength that wasn't there before, a clarity that sharpens as soon as you open your eyes. That exhaustion malingering behind your smile starts to lift. Those random aches, the ones the doctors shrugged at, the ones you almost accepted as permanent, begin to ease. Some days you move slower, but every step is steadier. Don't be surprised if you hear, "You look younger," or "What changed?" when people see you. The mantle does not just age you, it renews you. The lines of endurance on your face get balanced out by a new glow. Test results shift. Diagnoses get rewritten. The medicine that barely worked is suddenly not even needed as the body lines up with the obedience of your spirit. This is not hype. This is holy order. The exterior bends to the reality of your inner commission. And oh, the reversal of reputation. The very rooms where you were judged are now places where your name is spoken in honor. People who never acknowledged you now reference your perseverance in conversations they hope will inspire their own children. Doors that were bolted now swing wide without you having to knock. You find yourself with invitations from organizations and people who once explained to you with cool politeness why you weren't the right fit. You are the standard now, not the exception. It's your resilience they want. It's your story at the conferences, your face on the website, your advice in the strategy meeting. Those who once gossiped suddenly have amnesia about what they said. Some come apologizing, some come pretending. You don't need either apology or pretense. The vindication is public and, more importantly, irreversible. What was said in the dark cannot outweigh what God is saying about you in the light. Let me take you right into the heart of commission. Vindication is not where the story ends. It is the platform for your next command. Right now, in this very space, the things you endured have become assignments for a future you couldn't predict. Heaven has given you keys, not trophies. New doors open and you see that every painful delay was a lesson in how to manage the next level of influence. Your words matter. People pivot when you speak. The rooms you enter need your discernment, your experience, your caution, your hope. You don't have to perform or prove anything anymore. You've been handed stewardship over ideas, over projects, over hearts, because the mantle makes you trustworthy. The mark draws the broken and the bold. Children seek your encouragement. Leaders seek your wisdom. The ones you used to envy now secretly reach out, needing the clarity you fought so hard to find. Here's what happens in the commission phase. Spontaneous doors appear. Invitations come with urgency. Someone needs your voice on a panel. Another needs your prayer at 6 a.m. You find yourself on phone calls that last hours, speaking life where there was resignation. You're asked to intercede for families, for businesses, for impossible diagnoses. And though the ask is heavy, you notice so quietly at first that your yes has a power it never had before. When you bless, things grow. When you speak peace, storms end. When you say enough, confusion stops. You become a spiritual thermostat, not just a thermometer. The mark is a demand for more, but also a guarantee of supply. You are sent ones for this generation, and your face tells the story before your mouth can even open. Let me tell you what the mantle will never let you forget: the pain behind the promotion. Heaven trusts what is tested. The blessing does not erase the memory of every lonely night, every unanswered text, every ignored email. What you sowed in tears is now being reaped in joy. But the memory of the drought keeps you humble. You find yourself loving deeper because you remember what it was like to be overlooked. Your intercession is fire because you know what it is to plead for hope at 3 a.m. Your arms are open because you remember living with empty hands, waiting for a sign that you mattered. This humility is holy. It makes your victory safe for others. And now, the closing decree, let it resound in every realm. They scheme to keep you silent, but your voice is carrying further than ever. They boxed you in, but your borders have expanded without limit. They called you forgotten, but you became unforgettable. They laughed at your calling, but your calling is now their lifeline. They wrote you off, but heaven rewrote your future. They set limits. You live limitlessly. They tried to steal your night, but your dawn cannot be stolen. They sowed shame, and you stand clothed in double honor. Every reversal is complete, every vindication visible, every commission released in full. You are marked, you are mantled, you are commissioned, and right now, suddenly, overnight now, nothing and no one can undo what's been written on your face. Chosen one, as the hour presses on and the evidence of your reversal becomes undeniable. Let me peel back another layer, because right now the territory of your life is changing. You used to measure the days in losses, counting the cost of everything you endured, always bracing for another round of disappointment. But now, and I mean right now, you feel the shift in your bones, a new momentum swelling where defeat once sat. You're living the moment where everything that shamed you, everything that tried to sink you, becomes the very vehicle driving you forward. The territory the enemy claimed is returning, sometimes quickly, sometimes so gradually, you barely notice until one morning you wake up realizing you're not living in fear anymore. The mark on your face isn't just visible to others, it's your own daily mirror, reminding you that there is no going back to what you were before this shift. Let me take you into the reversal you're walking out in your public life. You used to enter spaces hoping not to be noticed, praying no one would bring up your past or your pain. You'd keep your head down, make yourself small, answer questions carefully. Now you walk into rooms and the air tilts in your direction. The ones who used to push you to the margins can't ignore your presence. It's not arrogance, it's authority shaped by humility and hardship. You catch looks, some curious, some unsettled, some full of a new respect. Those who called you too quiet, too intense, too much, now linger longer just to catch your point of view. You don't need to convince anyone. The evidence is written in how you carry yourself, the way your eyes scan a situation and people feel seen. The peace you bring even before you open your mouth. What tried to mark you for exclusion marked you for distinction instead. You've stopped apologizing for the weight you carry. You're not pushing down your passion, not quieting your convictions, not shrinking back from high callings. You receive invitations you used to fantasize about, not because you sought them, but because the mantle summoned them. Projects land on your desk that you once watched pass you by. Your name is mentioned in circles that never used to include you. People come looking for you with questions, with proposals, with open hands and open doors. Where you once had to beg for consideration, now you're making choices. You're deciding which invitations align with your assignment because you finally realize not all access is favor, and not all favor is yours to steward. Wisdom is blossoming. Your yes and no carry the same anointing. Let me give you a glimpse of the reversal in your private world, the place most can't see. The silence that once scared you now feels sacred. There's rich communion in your solitude. You cherish the routine, the slow mornings, the cup of coffee where your hands no longer tremble with anxiety. You find comfort in the stillness. Quiet is no longer empty, it's full of peace, full of revelation, full of gratitude that reaches back and rewrites your story. At night, you sleep deeper. The 3 a.m. panic attack has been replaced with 3 a.m. dreams full of instruction and promise. You wake up not with that old dread, but with a quiet expectation, a readiness for whatever new chapter God is writing out loud. Vindication now pulses through the most sensitive places. The wounds that felt incurable begin to close. Let me tell you about the fresh oil flowing over your story right now. Where there was trauma, there's now testimony. The old ache that used to tighten your throat whenever certain names or memories resurfaced now dissolves, replaced by a strange, fierce compassion. That person who left when you needed them most. You catch yourself praying for their healing, not just with words, but with a heart that genuinely wants them well. You no longer need to replay the moment you were wronged because God has rewritten your identity. Every lie that tried to describe you no longer sticks. You are living vindication. It's not just that people know what happened to you, it's that you know what's happening in you. Let me pull you into the commission that's being unlocked by your endurance. Right now, purpose is rising to the surface and the world is rushing to place a demand on your presence. Opportunities don't overwhelm you, they organize you. Assignments don't drain you, they draw from a well that's been dug deep in secret. The influence that once felt foreign fits like a tailored garment. You're entrusted with influence for the sake of others, not as an ornament but as armor. For the vulnerable, the overlooked, those still sitting in shadows you once called home. You are becoming the answer to prayers you didn't even know people were praying. Your journey, marked by visible struggle, is providing roadmaps for the ones just beginning their climb. They want to know how you kept your integrity, how you survived the loneliness, how you're still standing with soft hands and stronger boundaries. You teach not through theories but through scars, through mistakes redeemed, through a laugh that reaches to the bone. They see your face, creased and aglow, and realize that surviving does not mean bitterness. Thriving does not require forgetting the pain. You show them how to hold the tension, joy and sorrow, victory and humility, leadership and service. The mantle does not make you distant. It makes you more accessible, more relatable, more useful in the hands of God than ever before. Your commission is a living thing. Some days it looks like leading meetings and making decisions that shift the fates of many. Some days it is quiet counsel at a hospital bedside. Other days it's simply holding your space, refusing to agree with fear, modeling what perseverance without pretension looks like. People come to you not just for what you know, but for what you won't say. For the safety you offer, the confidentiality you keep, for the discernment that steadies anxious hearts. Your decisions carry ripple effects. When you choose mercy, healing sweeps through families. When you take the high road, grudges lose their grip community-wide. Your boundaries teach others how to honor their own. You are not just building a legacy, you're stewarding a movement with your life. Let me assure you, commission always attracts challenge, but the mark is your evidence and your shield. The criticism that stung now glances off. The jealousy you sense does not unseat your peace. The whisper campaigns crumble, exhausted by their own weight. You have nothing to prove to those content to misunderstand. Vindication has separated you from the need to explain, and commission has tethered you to the ones hungry for your voice, your blueprint, your example. You are not leading out of wound, but out of holy assignment. Your rest is prophetic warfare. Your resilience unsettles systems and inspires the ones meant to follow. Now let this closing decree thunder into every future. They mocked your breaking, but God revealed his making. They counted you unfit, but you outlasted every false verdict. They wished your fear would silence you, but courage found its flag in your heart. They mistook your solitude for defeat, not knowing the mantle grows best in hidden places. They called your hope naive, but hope became your compass and your anchor. They tried to edit your story, but heaven published a testimony with your name and face blazing on the front. They made small rooms thinking you'd settle. Now your influence refuses to fit. They shut you out, but you hold keys to nations. Every reversal has strengthened your core. Every vindication is speaking for you daily. Every commission lines your steps with fresh purpose. Chosen one. The mantle rests, the mark shines, the doors swing. Right now, suddenly, overnight now, nothing can erase what God has established on your face and in your life. Chosen one, I need you to see this final stretch for what it is. A crossing over. A sealing of everything God has set in motion. You are no longer defined by what tried to chain you down. The echoes of yesterday's failures, the labels they tried to glue to your forehead, these things are powerless against the shine on your face now. The mark can't be argued with, not by those who wronged you, not by voices in your own head, not by memories that used to replay without mercy. Watch closely how quickly the tables turn in these days. Where you once braced for critiques, now affirmations find you. Where you prepared for disappointment, unexpected favor keeps knocking, not once but again and again. Even in places designed to exclude you, your worth becomes so obvious it can't be denied. The mantle adjusts your environment, it bends reality to the necessity of your calling. Let me tell you what release feels like. Your steps are measured but bold, every move made without permission from old wounds. People sense your sureness. Where you speak, confusion untangles. Where you stand, the atmosphere steadies. You no longer need apologies from the past. You only need room for what's next. And the room is opening. The release is relentless. Provision multiplied. Strategy clicking into place. A harvest from seeds you sowed when you were still weeping. This is commission with teeth. Commission that feeds others just by standing where others once stumbled. Now listen to this decree, let it mark you as you move forward. They hoped you'd retreat, but you became the advance. They denied you the stage, but you became the message carried like fire. They predicted collapse, but you arose as the structure others shelter under. They dismissed your struggle, but your endurance is the sign they secretly seek. They cannot erase the mark, cannot outmaneuver the mantle, cannot unplug the favor. Suddenly, overnight now, vindication has become your backdrop, commission is your pace, and the glory woven onto your face is heaven's answer to every doubt, every delay, every attack. Chosen one, the world cannot unsee what God has set upon you. Shine on, for this is your irreversible hour.